what it do, YouTube? It's your boy ColtsTalk. We are back with another video, and today we're gonna go over day 2 of the joint practices with the Chicago Bears and the Indianapolis Colts at Grant Park in Indianapolis. This one was a little bit different from the first one. You know, the Colts had a standout on both sides, I think, in my opinion. This one's a little bit rough for the offense, figuratively speaking. But I think the defense again did what they had to do. They stepped up and they made some big plays. Zaire Franklin on one of them. Nick Cross has been having a great training camp and great joint practices. He's really been stepping up this offseason. Hopefully he can get more playing time out there on the field during the regular season. Hopefully he can make something happen these last 2 preseason games. But me speaking, going into these games, before I get into it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notice so you know when I'm dropping some videos. But going into it, I think the next game after what I'm about to tell you guys, I think they should rest the starters just due to health scare. I think a lot of players went down in this camp. And there was a lot of scuffles as well. It was a lot of fights in this second practice for some reason. I don't know why. If you guys don't follow the Colts social media account, they asked both teams to say something nice about the other team. So you guys can kind of feel the energy was a little off from the first camp, but this one it was a lot of scuffles, and you know this one resulted in a player getting Farrell Brown getting kicked out of camp due to his involvement in the fights. So Eric Johnson was in one per Destin Adams. Shout out to Destin, he was there. Like I said, if you guys aren't able to go to training camps, if you guys have a Twitter and you guys follow any of the Colts media, they're going to keep you posted. They're going to keep you posted what's going on there because they're there after the practice. Even fans, there are fans there that'll keep you posted with clips and things of that nature where you're not there to participate. So if you're not watching any of this content on YouTube, social media is the way to stay active during these things. Just in case if you guys happen to see a player during the season, like, man, where is this guy coming from? And you might have missed anything like news related from, the training camps of a standout. These are these type of moments. So you have to stay active, stay notified and, stay involved in the off season to know, what type of players to look out for when the season comes up. So that you don't be missing anything. So you have the facts and the things of that nature about this player. So yeah, but like I said, Nick Cross, I think they should rest the starters, just due to all the health scares. Ashton Doolin just went down in the first joint practice against the Bears at night. Towards ACL, he's out for the year. It sucks, man. It sucks to see him gone. He's a good special teams guy and a pretty decent receiver as well, pretty accurate receiver. But like I said, when one goes down, it's just another opportunity for another person to step up. It's next man up in Indianapolis. It's unfortunate, but I do have a list of other injuries that had took place during the practice. So players that didn't appear to participate: Zach Moss's arm, Jelani Woods hamstring, Marley Cox's ankle, Ryan Kelly foot, Drew Ogletree his shoulder, Gernard Avery, as we mentioned the other day, was the undisclosed injury. Will Fry's undisclosed. Mike Strawn, he left early with an injury. Ricky Gene Seals. Sorry, I was thinking about the other guy, edge rush from a few years ago. Ricky Gene Seals, he was a tight end, right ankle. Samson Equibon went down in this camp. He slammed his helmet in frustration. It looked like his lower leg, and then he did return. But Shaquille Leonard, he left a little bit early too. DeForest Buckner from the other day, and Jonathan Taylor still hasn't done anything. So that is the list from what we know so far. But other players been getting banged up. But like I said, they should take it easy going into the rest of this preseason so they can prepare for the season. Because you guys know what Colts an injury list, they just look like a grocery list, man. It just be players up and down the list, man. It's unfortunate, man. Injuries is a part of the game, though, guys. Injuries are part of the game, and it's unfortunate that we want to see these guys play, and things like that happen. But what makes it so special is how they recover and come back from it. So prayers to everyone that's battling injuries from both sides of the field. Hopefully, speedy recovery so we can go back out there and see them play on football. Moving forward, Justin Fields had a pretty good red zone day. I think he went 100% in the red zone, but other than that, when it was 11 on 11, 7 on 7, the defense pretty much was giving their money's worth. The offensive line continued to struggle. They got to get some depth in there for the Colts, man. The Colts offensive line, the depth is horrendous. So, like I said, Will Fries went down, so we have to find some type of replacement. We don't need to do anything like we did last year with swinging people, changing positions, things of that nature. It's going to be difficult. So we got to get some depth in there. And I mentioned in the other video, all NFL teams' offensive line depth is not great. The Colts isn't the only team that go through this situation. So it is what it is. Hopefully they can find some pieces and plug them in and get them get them accustomed to the offensive line. I know a lot of people are talking about Reisner in the chat from yesterday's vid. Hopefully they'll figure something out with that. Moving forward, like I said, Nick Cross had a good standout. Zaire Franklin, he played pretty decent. On the offensive side, Josh Downs continues to be himself. Alec Pierce, he had a few shining moments. But when you look at Anthony Richardson, we'll talk about him. He didn't have a great day. But I think his numbers would have been better if the penalties play a big role in the training camp of his. When you look at the numbers and you guys just watch numbers, you're like, oh, he did this. It's something like 2 completions and out of 6 or something like that. 2 out of 6 or something like that. But most of his passes were completed, but penalties, illegal man downfield or things of that nature. If it's not penalties, it's not the receivers catching the ball. That plays a big role, man. It plays a big role, especially for people that stat watch. They're like, oh, well, maybe this is why this is this. He's not this because look at his numbers. But if you instead of watching the numbers, if you actually see what is causing these things, like penalties or the receiver dropping the ball, if you take those away, I don't think he had a bad day. But camp overall, I think Anthony Richardson's shown some good signs. And, good's going to come with the bad. He did throw some picks. He did throw some, passes of that nature. But other than that, I think his mindset of where he wants to be, I think he knows, which is a good thing, especially with a young guy, especially a rookie, coming into the NFL, playing a team like the Bears, who's pretty much defensively sound, if we're being honest. Their offense is, their offense is getting there. They got potential, but usually I would probably suggest their defense, them being a defensive team. So, a guy like Anthony Richardson, a rookie, going out there, getting his feet under him, having confidence of throwing the football. His arm strength is amazing. The accuracy is there. But he just needs his receivers to catch the ball, or the penalties is gonna cause a lot of these things, especially in the season, if they don't get these things figured out. The offensive line, we know how bad the offensive line is. So that's not even part of the question. But I think when you look at Anthony Richardson, he has the arm strength. He can do pretty much anything out there. He's a freak of nature. But if the penalties and the receiver dropping the ball or miscommunication is going to play part of it, it's going to be natural. He's going to grow out of it, and it's not going to hinder my thoughts on Anthony Richardson moving forward. So I think he had himself a pretty decent training camp. Like I said, going into the rest of these preseason games, I don't think we need to see the starters just because of what just happened with all of these players going down in practice or in camp. So I think for the safe bet, I think we should rest the starters and let the guys that are on the bubble of making the roster or needs to step up and get a few reps in, put them in the game. I think that'll be a part of what we should do moving forward because it's still an examination period for most guys, especially with a guy like Ashton Dulin going down. Who's going to step up and take his spot? Isaiah McKenzie is the guy I forgot to mention that's had himself a pretty good training camp. We acquired him this offseason from Buffalo, and he's been making himself known in these joint practices. So that is a good thing to see. A lot of people, Coach Constance is going to mention like our young corners or things of that nature, like a Daryl Baker Jr. or things of that nature. But other than that, I think Isaiah McKenzie is definitely my camp standout. We mentioned Mike Strawn; he had a big play as well before he went down. But I think Isaiah McKenzie is my guy. I will vote for that had a pretty good standout in camp. Hopefully, he can transfer that into the season. So he can have himself a big year, especially I think he's gonna have a bigger role in Indianapolis than he did in Buffalo. So hopefully he can have his coming out party in Indiana. So that'll be a good sight to see, man. He's been toasting Chicago's corners, man. He's been toasting Chicago's corners in these joint practices. So that is a good sight to see. But you guys let me know your thoughts about if the coach should rest the starters for the rest of the preseason. Let me know your thoughts about the injuries. Who you think is going to step up and take Dulin's place? Who would you want to do that? Let me know your thoughts all about in the comment section. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. More content coming out for you. The Colts game is at 7 p.m. on Saturday, so I should be live streaming that. So you guys stay tuned for that as well. This is Marcus. Turn on the notice if you haven't. Until next time, you've been Culture Shock.